I employ fair use every day in the work that I do here at Poynter.
Well, fair use is an important part of almost everything that I do. My job is to find video of breaking news moments and incorporate that video into stories.
I don't know how you could do journalism today and not use fair use.
I think that fair use is absolutely imperative for journalistic innovation.
As somebody who is a cultural critic, is a television critic, is a media critic, I'm always going to established works and commenting on them or using them to illustrate some trend in society.
For example, with some of the media critique work that I do, I think that it's really important to be able to call out those examples and to quote them at length.
So I'm often quoting from books, I'm often quoting from television shows, I'm often quoting from television coverage or radio coverage.
And the kind of fungibility of digital media, being able to take video from multiple locations and multiple places and multiple sources, this kind of remix culture that students are coming up in, I think fair use is going to become a far more significant question in journalism schools.
So understanding fair use and its limits in the way that we can use generally live video recordings is essential.
I think what's really inspiring about these set of principles is that so many times people look at copyright as something to fear, and what these principles help to present are the opportunities that copyright presents to journalism and reporting.
One of the major issues here is that journalists just simply don't know the law, and so having these principles laid out with clear situational contexts is incredibly helpful and definitely inspiring to young journalists.
Having a booklet like this that you can quickly refer to when you have questions, whether it's within the newsroom or within a classroom, sort of simplifies that process.
At my newspaper, we have a lot of people who are blogging, and we're all making these decisions in real time, mostly by ourselves. So I think a document like this would help us in that sense.
I mean, for some things it's going to make it really quick and easy to say, oh, okay, this makes it clear. And for other things, I think it may just point you in a direction, and you may sort of need to do more research, talk to someone else. But I do think it sort of gives some really nice starting places for a lot of the sort of day-to-day discussions that go on.
So instead of being a no, you can't use this work approach, this is more of a, of course you can use this approach because you're doing journalism and here's how you can use it.
Having a set of principles that can educate journalists on the types of ways that they can use copyrighted material without encountering the wrong side of the law is really important. And so I think that this is a great educational tool for journalists, for bloggers, for really anyone who's using copyrighted material.
I hope that a document like this can be something that editors can stick up for their reporters or writers and report to council, hey, we have this within our rights. Go back and tell the rights holder that we can use this.
I often find myself in a disagreement with different publishers and editors over what's an appropriate use. And they tend to be very conservative in their interpretation of the law. And I think that these guidelines will help give me a little bit of ammunition when I go to an editor and say, no, I can totally use this quote without getting permission. It's covered under fair use. And hopefully they'll listen to me.
In the legal context, when you can look to a document like this and see that such a variety of people who do journalism have common practices and function and face similar challenges, you're going to see that when they can identify the same steps in a process or the same values that they all agree are important to that industry, then that's going to be very persuasive in litigation or even preventing litigation.
They are often paralyzed by fear of breaking the law or paralyzed by fear of getting in trouble with their company. And so I think what this will do is give journalists the courage to go forward and know that they're using copyrighted materials in a way that they're covered by the law and that they're actually encouraged to use them.
It's more of a document that gives journalists permission to do their job better instead of limiting them and the scope of the reporting that they currently do.
I've been doing this for a long time. I've developed my own very specific idea of what my fair use rights are. And here in this principles, I read a document that is reading back to me my own personal philosophy. So I wouldn't say it's liberating, but it does confirm that I am, that I'm in the right, that I'm not just writing my own ethical code here, that there is a large group of people who have come to a consensus and that those people agree with me. As someone who has to manage the boundary of fair use on a daily basis, that makes me feel good.
This set of principles reflect a deeper thinking and a good logical process to give to journalists that didn't exist before.
Well, so clarity always makes you more confident. If you understand where the stepping stones are, then you don't have to spend so much time and energy trying to figure out a workaround. So yeah, I think these will make me much bolder as a journalist, and I hope they'll do the same for others.